What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the lock-on pistol and why I think a lot of you might enjoy using it right now. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and comment down below if you're going to take advantage of the lock-on pistol. So the lock-on pistol has been in the loot pool for several weeks now, and it's definitely always been solid. And it's gotten some use, but it wasn't really that popular of a choice. But with the TMNT mythics in the game and how many people use them to just like run away, or how common it is for people to use double mobility, like the TMNT mythics and Grapple Blade, or the TMNT mythics and Shockwaves, I think a lot of you might really enjoy using the lock-on pistol because it kind of counters this decently well. And it makes it a lot easier to shoot those people that are just running from you. I saw this post from Boop talking about how the lock-on pistol is going to be good for getting Storm Surge and FNCS because it's basically hit scan, it has no bullet drop, and while the other weapons this season have bullet drop and travel time, it makes them like a lot harder to get those guaranteed, Storm Surge tags long range, especially in really laggy lobbies, whereas lock-on pistol, you don't have to worry about that as much, and it also has a lock-on effect, which will make it even easier to get Storm Surge tags. If you guys are unfamiliar with competitive and Storm Surge, basically you just have to do damage to other players to get above Storm Surge threshold, so the storm doesn't just like damage you constantly. It basically encourages fighting and forces people to fight and has the game not just be like super duper campy, but like getting surge is like very important, and the lock-on pistol could be good for that. And then kind of after seeing that post, I thought maybe it would be good at dealing with people just running, because I have ran into a lot of players since the TMNT update who just run constantly, where they have double mobility, like I said, and it's like they're not really fighting back at all. It just takes a really long time to like eventually kill them. And I've had a lot of comments from other players complaining about this as well, and kind of saying they can't wait for the TMNT mythics to leave for this reason. And in practice, I think the lock-on pistol works great at dealing with these players, especially if you already have them weak, which is likely going to be the case if they're running from you. Oftentimes what I've had happen is like I hit a snipe on somebody, and then I go to push them, and then as I push them, they just start leaving. And in that situation, the lock-on pistol works great. Trying to like 250 to 0 someone out of the sky while they're using these TMNT mythics will be rough, but if you already have them weak, that little bit of like extra damage you need to finish off the kill can definitely, like the lock-on pistol can definitely get that done. It does about like 25 damage per bullet, so if you lock on all 4 shots, it'll be about 100 damage. And even if you just free fire it without the lock-on, it'll still be a bit easier than a lot of the other weapons in the game to hit those like traveling players, because again, it doesn't really have bullet drop or bullet travel time like the other weapons do. And in addition to like all those benefits I just talked about with like being able to lock on people using the TMNT mythics or Grapple Blade, or just not having to worry about bullet drop at all, you also have like, the really nice added utility of the lock-on effect, like dealing with people in bushes, which will happen. A lot of times someone will run from you and then run into a bush, and you kind of repeat the same scenario I was just talking about, where like if you already have them weak, just locking on a few shots will like really make it much easier to kill them than it would be otherwise. And I also had somebody in my Twitch chat say that it's really good at dealing with people if you're on island, because like if you're on island and people rift onto you, or maybe they come up the zip line and then use the TMNT mythic right away to try to get height, or maybe you're winning a fight versus them on island and they try to pad away. These are all situations where, the projectile nature of the Chapter 5 weapons would make them much more inconvenient to use, whereas the lock-on pistol doesn't really have that problem. One problem the lock-on pistol does have, though, is the spawn rate isn't the greatest, but there are several NPCs on the map selling it for 100 gold. I'll have them on screen now. You see like the little character circles are where the NPCs spawn that sell the lock-on pistol. There's one at Rebel's Roost. There's one kind of in between Grand Glacier and Reckless Railway, and there's another one that I don't remember off the top of my head, but it will be on that map. The thing is, though, we are getting an update a day or two after I post this video, and with the updates, Epic does tend to kind of change up NPC spawn locations and what they're selling. So that might be outdated a day or two after this video. If it is, I will have a pinned comment kind of correcting that. So the spawn rate isn't the greatest, but there are several NPCs where you can buy it from, and it makes it much easier to kind of get and much more consistent to play around. If you had to worry rely strictly on solely RNG to get this item, it would be kind of rough, and it would be hard to like kind of take anything away from this video. Maybe you find it like one game and use it and you're like, wow, that's cool. But like, if you really like using it, there's NPCs you can buy it from, and that makes it a lot more, it makes this playstyle a lot more consistent, I think. Overall, I think this weapon is pretty solid, and I didn't really mind using it to get gameplay for this video. There was a lot of times where, you know, that situation I outlined earlier kind of happened where I sniped someone and then they start running from me, and then I just lock on with the pistol and beam them out of the air. And I think those situations were a lot easier with the lock-on pistol than they would have been with something like the Striker AR. I think I would typically rather use the Striker AR for zero builds though, and the Thunder Burst SMG for builds, but I didn't mind using this lock-on pistol. Like I said, I just feel like recently I've been getting a much better feel for the Striker AR's like bullet drop and travel time. I've been enjoying it a lot more like the past week or two than I did, you know, for like the first few weeks of chapter 5. So I don't know if I've just gotten better with it, more acclimated to the bullet drop or whatever. But if you're someone who really does not have a good feel for the projectile weapons and you just hate dealing with it, the lock-on pistol could be a good choice, and I would recommend trying this out if you are someone who really hates dealing with people running from you. And I know just from reading my comments that there's a lot of you that hate dealing with that situation. The lock-on pistol might be a good choice. You'll see in the gameplay during this video, I was just using it in place of my AR. So I was using shotgun, lock-on pistol, and sniper. And you might kind of be weirded out, like, does the pistol really do good enough at range? It doesn't matter because you have the sniper for range anyways. The times where I disliked using the lock-on pistol most was when fighting bosses or when someone was driving a car. I felt like I had a much easier time beaming people out of cars with the Striker AR, probably just because it shoots so much faster and it's easier to kind of adjust in real time as you're spraying the person. And then bosses, just it felt like it took me forever to kill the bosses with the lock-on pistol. So if you have this and you want to clear a boss, maybe drop it for one of the weapons the guards have, like the Striker AR or the Nemesis AR, or if there's any burst SMGs around, that also does great on the bosses. But I really did not like the lock-on pistol for that. But like I already talked about in the video, I think it was great for dealing with people running from you. Let me know what you think down in the comments below of the lock-on pistol, and if you're going to try this out and take advantage of it. I'm going to let some gameplay play out that I got using the lock-on pistol. And that's going to be it for this video. If you guys found it helpful, informative, interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. I don't really dispute that was maybe out of range. I wish I had shockwaves in addition to this. Dude, my range on it feels terrible. I don't know. Peek. Alright, I gotta reload anyways, man. One more. Oh gosh, this guy might be in for a rude awakening. Dang. Did my range, like I used it all up or something? I don't know. I didn't think that would be out of range either. Oh shoot, he's got a business turret. I better watch out. I thought he was just gonna stay on the dirt bike. I was hoping he'd like drive past me and then I could just like beam him. I'm just like kind of toying with this guy. Jeez. But like even right here, when I was like shooting down on him there, like just free firing without the lock-on effect, the DPS on this is not like terrible. Like you can kill quite fast with it.